I love sleeping around and having a good time. You're only young once, right? For context, I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I've always had an adventurous spirit and a passion for trying new things in and outside of the bedroom, which has led me to explore online dating. Sure, I wanted to put myself out there more and actually find someone, but I love the thrill of a fling or a sneaky link. My outgoing personality and my Latina curves, I have to say, sure, help me land some stunners. But online dating seems like the perfect opportunity to meet men, so I can have fun, especially those who are down to have a good time, if you know what I mean. This story takes place in the city I currently live in. Friday nights are usually those I tend not to remember, but this one was, well, different. I was doing the usual, drinking with the girls as we were getting ready to go to the clubs. Most of us had dates lined up, so we wouldn't have to spend any money on drinks or entry to venues. Thank you, dating apps, am I right? My date in particular was extra hot, and I knew he would be in my bed tonight. After all, we had been flirting plenty over the phone, text mostly. After finishing drinks with the girls and feeling tipsy, we got in the Uber that one of my friend's boy toy had sent us. The Uber ride was maybe 15 to 20 minutes to the first club of the night. The dates we had lined up said they would all meet us there, and as far as we knew, they didn't know each other. We arrived to the first club around 11:15, and it was pumping. "Hey, you," I spun around, tall, with white teeth and brown curls. Yeah, he was mine tonight. I felt that tingle. The ladies listening know what I'm talking about. He gently put his hand on my lower waist and leaned in for a friendly kiss on either cheek. Obviously, I followed suit. The night progressed with him buying me a few rounds and me returning the favor with some flirtatious banter and looks that would have aroused his ego. At this point, I was pretty drunk, so I leant into his shoulder and gave him that "let's get out of here" look whilst biting my lower lip. He called us an Uber back to his place. The way there, I was practically making out with his neck. I was so ready for him. We arrived, and he popped the car door for me. I got out as he was making his way from the door he exited from. Then, in one swift motion, he swung me off my feet and carried me up the stairs, through the front door and sat me down on his couch. Before he sat down, he reached for a lighter and 2 scented candles. Of course they were red, so I knew what was coming. I was completely soaking, and I couldn't wait for him to begin using me. He set the 2 candles down and leant into the couch, turned to me, and smiled. "How about a glass of wine?" he asked. I smiled back. As he moved to get up, I spun myself onto his lap, facing him. He looked up at me and smirked, and then you know what happened from there, I'm sure. The next morning, I woke up to a flash. Although I thought it was morning, I was a little stunned in my sleepy state. I forced my eyes open, and it was not at all what I was expecting. There, towering over me, was the same guy I went home with, but he was holding something, a camera. I chuckled in my groggy state. "What are you doing?" I asked. He didn't respond, but definitely heard what I said. I repeated myself as I sat up in bed. That's when I noticed a fire escape route on the back of the bedroom door, the same ones found in any sort of Airbnb or hotel. "This isn't your house, is it?" I asked. He took his eyes off the camera and looked to me. I scanned the room, my eyes darting from sheer panic. The more I looked around, the more it looked like a rental. My gaze stopped at a small black duffel bag in the corner of the room. The bag was open, and inside I saw duct tape, rope, and rags. As I looked back at him, he was turning back to face me after following my gaze to the bag. I shot myself out of bed and backed myself to the door. He started to step towards me with an insane look on his face. I swung the door open and fled through the hall and down the stairs. In my underwear, I burst through the front door and was met with sirens. It turns out that one of the dates of the girls had a run-in with the guy that I've been with. He was known to spike the drinks of girls and take them back to Airbnbs he rented for the night, obviously taking advantage of them. To him, it was some sort of game, and he'd keep score by taking explicit photos of them. After he told the girls, I must have already been in this guy's bed. They called the authorities shortly after. I obviously still go out most weekends. As I've said before, I like a good time. However, now more than ever, I'm more careful about who I go home with. And to all of the women listening to this story, for God's sake, do the same.